Hey everybody, welcome to another video review. Today is going to be a little bit of a distraction. I just went to Universal Studios. It was a special event for Kaiser Permanente employees. They shut the park down after 8 o'clock. And so it's a bit of a tradition. They have it, I think, 2 Saturdays a year. Right about this time, and I tend to go, with my family just to sort of enjoy it. More recently, just maybe with my daughter, just my other daughter's too young to go. So I go to Universal Studios only during that time, mainly because, well, it's nice to visit. The only thing I really like there is the Wizarding World. Everything else, in my opinion at least, is sort of showing its age. And once you've done the rides a couple times, there's not really all that many rides to do. And so I only go, again, in this type of circumstance where I'm pretty sure that there's very few lines and you can just enjoy all the rides and stuff. So we spent quite a little bit of time in the Wizarding World. It was good to be back. Didn't realize how much I missed it until I went there. It's always fun to sort of eat in the area. It's, like I said, similar to Galaxy's Edge for Disneyland, where you feel immersed in the world of Star Wars, and there you feel like you're immersed in the world of Harry Potter's Wizarding World. They're both very fun in their own way. And so I was there, I finally picked up a little collectible that I've been meaning to get for quite a while, and I just never had the chance to do. I tend not to collect too many things from Harry Potter. I have a couple wands that we bought over the years to play with, mainly just for my daughter. Different types of wands, cool looking designs. And then I bought a time changer, Hermione's little, is it a time changer? I think it's like a time spinner or something like that, which I thought was like a really, really cool device when I first read it and I saw it in the movies. And then this, of course, is the original artifact that sort of started the entire series, the Sorcerer's Stone or the Philosopher's Stone, depending on what country the books were published in, from Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. So this is from a company called the Noble Collection, which sort of has had its ups and downs. They started as a very, very high-end collectibles company. They kind of made all sorts of odd, random things like expensive custom game boards, and they had porcelain statues and knives and all sorts of crazy stuff. I remember over a decade ago, there was a Noble Collection store actually in my local mall up in San Francisco. And I used to love walking in there and just sort of browsing and looking at all the cool stuff. And of course now they're an online-only company, and they've closed their stores a long, long time ago. And they've sort of been crowded out of the market by a lot of the other more aggressive mainstream statue companies. Nowadays, their licenses and their quality is pretty suspect. And I don't really even know how collectible this stuff is. They certainly don't seem to make them limited. So I wouldn't call this necessarily a collectible, I guess, per se, because it's not numbered, it's not limited. I saw this a year ago and it caught my fancy, and then a year later I go back and it's still there, available for sale. But I picked it up because, for me as a Harry Potter fan, I've always, kind of loved the series, and this is one of the few things I would love to own. And so the fact that they made it makes me very happy. So I'm going to take the dome off. This is a very nice heavy dome right here, so we can see the Sorcerer's Stone a little bit more closely. Okay, so first of all, the Noble Collection has fallen, again, on some hard times, and some of their statues are just horrible in terms of the quality of the paint and the likeness and all that sort of stuff. But for like a prop replica, they still do some pretty nice work, and I was pleasantly surprised by this piece. They're the only game in town when you want to have Harry Potter prop replicas. So I did wind up buying it. This sold for about $100. And here you have the Sorcerer's Stone. It's metal, and it's on this very nice blue felt. This is, gold-plated, or whatever fake gold they use. It's nice and bright and shiny. And then the ends here are screws. And you can actually, as you can see, screw it in on both sides until you can actually hold the Sorcerer's Stone itself in place. And the ends here are lined with felt, so you don't scratch the actual stone. The stone here looks like a very irregular like ruby-like rock. It's cool. It looks just like what the movie shows. And over here, I thought that this was actually like scratches or defects from people dropping it and the accidents, because I saw this initially on the display model. But the one I got was brand new, and everything was just like carefully packed and lined with foam and felt. It was hilarious. And then I open it up, it's the same stuff here. So I guess this is actually screen accurate. It has been a long time since I've watched Sorcerer's Stone, but I guess this type of white residue, and it looks like it's cracked and all that. I guess that's maybe part of the stone itself. This feels like it's nice and smooth. I don't think it's plastic, but in any case, it's a nice, nice little collectible. It feels nice that you actually have in your collection the Sorcerer's Stone. It's a very nice display, and it does take a little bit of tinkering to kind of get this properly lined up, so it doesn't immediately fall. And so do be careful when you're suspending the stone. I like to get the point of one end here, and then just sort of slowly get it in deeper and deeper, maybe even one revolution at a time. And then I put the stone against the two and kind of squeeze it in place. I found doing it any other way, the stone begins to shift as you begin to screw on either end. It'll just fall very easily. And that's how you can actually scratch it. Maybe they thought of that, which is why they already kind of gave us some pre-damage, so to speak, to camouflage it. But in person, this looks fantastic. It looks great. Definitely happy I got it. And I think it's one of their better collectibles. I also own, again, the Time Spinner by Hermione in a very nice, handsome case. And maybe I'll review that a little bit later. It's in my daughter's room. And they also have the sword, I think, of Godric Gryffindor, as well as Lucius Malfoy, Draco's dad, Lucius Malfoy's like silver serpent cane. I own that one as well. And those are all pretty, pretty good quality collectibles, especially the silver serpent cane. I've owned that for at least 4 or 5 years. I bought that when the Wizarding World first opened, and it hasn't tarnished or, looked bad or anything like that. So again, pretty nice. And they packed this thing exquisitely. And you can see kind of how thick this is. I don't know whether this is tempered glass or plexiglass, but it feels real heavy, real good quality. And then of course, let me hope not to screw it up. You put it over here gently so you don't scratch the plexiglass. And then it fits right in here. And so when you see that, again, it just looks really classy. You might actually see me in the reflection, just sort of, casually reviewing this piece. So yeah, definitely a nice collectible. Yeah, if you want a licensed version of the Sorcerer's or Philosopher's Stone, then this is it. Quite happy with it. So I hope you enjoyed this little short review. Most of my reviews tend to be going longer and longer, but this is a little shorter one. And again, it's available. It should be available, I think, on the Noble Collection website as well. Otherwise, the only way I know of to actually buy it is to go to the gift store in the Harry Potter and the Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey, the castle ride, and they have that for sale there. That's how I got hold of it. But if you want to get it shipped, normally I would beware of shipping anything with this type of dome. It tends to crack and shatter, but the Noble Collection did a pretty bang-up job protecting this. So I think it probably will make it to you in one piece. But definitely think it's a nice piece to have. It's a legacy collectible in my mind because it has one of the most important artifacts in the series that you can have, I guess. I think there's I have an Elder Wand too, but that's just like a plastic toy, so that's like whatever. They never did make an invisibility cloak, which I think would be a little bit hard to do anyways, right? And what was the third one? The invisibility cloak, the Elder Wand. What were the Deathly Hallows? God, it's been so long. Was it this thing? Was this one of the Deathly Hallows? I can't remember anymore. I think one of them was the one where yeah, I think this might be it. It might be something similar where you can bring the dead back to life or something, right? That was the one that one of the brothers killed himself because he was so sad because I think the love of his life that he brought back, one of the Deathly Hallows, wasn't the same and all that. And of course, the Elder Wand, the brother there was murdered for it, and the only one who survived was the one who used the invisibility cloak to lay low, so to speak. So, anyways, hope you enjoyed that. Until next time, do take care.